I'm your host Muse, and today we're back with another recipe from the Stardew Valley cookbook series. And today we're making complete breakfast.
In the game, you get this recipe from watching the Queen of Sauce, and here it makes 4 servings.
The complete breakfast consists of hash browns, yogurt pancakes with a salmonberry and rhubarb compote, and fried eggs. First, we're going to make the salmonberry and rhubarb compote. First, we cut 8 ounces of rhubarb, which is about 2 large sticks, and we cut them into half-inch pieces. We're going to put this in a saucepan, plus a quarter cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of water, and a pinch of salt. Now we're gonna put this in that saucepan over medium heat for 4 to 6 minutes until the sugar has fully dissolved. And the water has come to a simmer. We realized that we actually only needed 1 tablespoon of water and the other 2 tablespoons are using another part, but we are able to fix that relatively easily. Now we're going to let this simmer for an additional 5 to 6 minutes, and you can adjust the temperature if needed until the rhubarb starts breaking a bit and it's getting nice and tender. Make sure to stir occasionally. Now we're going to gently stir in our berries, and then we're going to put this over to the side and let it cool, and the berries might grow in size. And we're just going to let it stay at room temperature until everything else is done. Now it's the next day, and we're going to do the rest of our recipe, and we're going to start with our pancakes. And we're going to do the dry ingredients, which is 1.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
Queen's tip: if salmon berries and or rhubarb are out of season, or if you simply want to skip making the homemade fruit topping, you can substitute a tart fruit preserve in place of the compote.
Now in a small bowl, we're going to do our wet ingredients, which is 2 large eggs, 2 tablespoons of honey, 1.5 cups of goat yogurt, and 2 tablespoons of water.
A quote from Alex: "Grandma knows what's up. She makes me a complete breakfast every morning, which helps me on the grid ball field. That's why I'm in such good shape."
Now we're going to whisk our wet ingredients into our dry ingredients. So the batter is going to be kind of thick and lumpy, but that's okay. We're going to let it sit to the side for 15 minutes and start on the hash browns. We're going to preheat an oven to 200 degrees and get a wire rack on a baking sheet and put it off to the side. And then we're going to get a pound of potatoes and grate them on the big holes of a grater. Now we put all of our potato bits in this towel in a bowl, and we're going to fold in the corners and squeeze the potatoes until no more liquid comes out. So this could take a long time. Now that we got all the liquid out, we're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes so that a starch is made on the bottom. And then once we're done, we'll pour out the liquid and leave the starch in the bowl. So we got just a little bit of starch on the bottom, but we're going to add our potatoes in. Then 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, but we're just going to use potato starch because that's what we have. Then 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic. And then a teaspoon of onion powder. Oh, plus a couple good shakes of black pepper or a couple good grinds of black pepper. And then we're going to mix this all together with our hands. So here we have about an 1/8 inch or like 3 millimeters of oil covering the bottom of this cast iron skillet, and we're going to let it heat up on medium to medium high heat for about 10 minutes or until you can put some of your potato mixture in and it immediately starts to sizzle. So now that that's ready, we're going to take about 1/4 of the potato mixture stuff and flatten it out with a spatula or a spoon to try and get it in kind of like a patty shape. Well, that kind of like a heart. I'm going to make that into a heart and see if it stays. You're gonna let that fry there for about 5 minutes or until the bottom gets nice and golden brown and all of the potato pieces stick together so that you can flip it over. There we go. Now you're going to do that same thing with the rest of our potatoes. While these are cooking here, we're going to put the others in the oven on that rack just to keep warm. Here in this pan, we have 2 tablespoons of butter that we cut up into 4 pieces and they melted immediately. And then we're going to swirl that butter around the pan. Now we're going to take a 1/4 cup measuring cup and make these our portions. And then we're going to put, it says 3 in there, but I think ours can hold 4. I think 3 is like 1 serving, so that's why it says that.
once the pancakes start to get bubbly on top and the sides start to get stiff, that's when you know it's ready to flip. And that should take about 3 to 5 minutes. And it should take an additional 3 minutes to cook the other side. So we cleaned that cast iron skillet and put a tablespoon of oil in it. We used avocado oil. And then we're going to put half a tablespoon of butter in there. And then once that's all in there, we're going to crack 4 eggs into it. We're going to separate them later, so it's okay that they're all mixed in. We're going to let them cook for about 3 to 4 minutes until the whites are nice and tender, or not tender, or they set. Basically, they set, but the egg yolks are still nice and golden.
Now it's time to try this. I'm gonna start off with getting a bit of the pancake and the compote. That's really good. The compote obviously has that like nice fruity taste to it. I think I taste a bit of the rhubarb, but it's not like too much. I think the berry is a lot more of a strong flavor. And the pancakes are nice and soft and fluffy. And I can definitely kind of taste that yogurt in there, but like it's really subtle and very nice. I like it. Then I'll go in and take a bit of the egg. Gotta get that nice yolk out. It's an egg. It's good. I liked it, but I mean, the recipe itself, the egg wasn't super fancy, but it definitely was still a good egg. I think it fits the meal itself very well. And now I'll take a little bit of my beautiful heart-shaped hash brown. I think the hash brown has a perfect amount of crunch and soft potato-ness. I think there is definitely that crunch going in, but once you kind of break through that shell, it is still that nice kind of more normal potato bit. And I think everything really mixes together well, and it's definitely a complete breakfast. And now you know how to make your very own complete breakfast. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing.
And that's the 10th recipe in the spring section.